Hi, this is Sharon and Jamie from Sharonatsea, and today we are here with our first episode of Fall Fives.
Fall Fives? What's Fall Fives?
Fall Fives? Come on, you know what Fall Fives are.
All right, I do know what Fall Fives are. So people are always asking us about what's our top five this, top five that, our least favorite of something. We decided to put everything into some fun videos to share with you. We're going to roll them all out here this fall, and it's going to be a lot of top and bottom fives of what we love to do, what we love about cruising, what we've not loved about cruising, and so we're going to share some fun videos with you guys over this next couple weeks of the fall season.
That's right, and we are going to start the season with our first week of what are our top 5 excursions ever.
Top 5 excursions
in our cruise
ever?
history that we have done.
That's a lot of history right there.
That's right. Just they're just ones that kind of stood out for whatever reason. They just kind of stood out, and they're very memorable.
Are they in a particular order?
They are in no particular order.
So they're just random. Just our top 5. We shook them all up, put them in a bag, and we're picking them out and telling you about them.
They are top 5, and actually today we have an extra bonus of a 6th one for both of us. It's a different one. It's a different one.
You said it's top 5, and now it's more than 5.
We each had an extra one, and so that's actually going to be 7. You're going to get, okay?
7 for the price of 5 is what Sharon's telling you right now.
All right. So let's get started.
Okay. All right. What's number 1?
Number 1 is Charlie's Custom Tours in San Juan. This is one of our favorite excursion companies. We have done it more than once. The one that stands out the most, though, was our first one, just because.
Oh, yes.
Because it was
the first time's always a charm.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I mean, that's just when we discovered Carlos Medina and his company, and it was great. We went with our daughter and her family, and it was just a really special time.
Yes. It was fantastic. So we did a lot of legwork. We researched what did we want to do in San Juan, Puerto Rico. All right, it's not known for its beaches and or anything like that. And so we wanted to do something different and really see the sights and see what was going on. We had been to San Juan a few times when we left to get on a cruise ship. We've never really seen anything around there. So we got online, did some research, the usual stuff, your TripAdvisors and things of that nature. And we came up with Charlie's Custom Tours. Like Sharon said, the guy running the show is Carlos Medina. His son works with him on occasion too. And we did some research and found out this guy has an amazing, big, beautiful luxury van, and he takes you all over San Juan, Puerto Rico, and the setup is so cool. He takes pictures the whole time and sends them to you afterwards.
Yeah, you don't even have to take any pictures if you don't want to.
Inside of the van, he's got like a 32-inch TV that you can watch. And he has his camera facing out, so while you're in the van you can see all the sights outside. He gives you amazing detail, not just like, hey, there's a church, but gives you details of when it was built, what its importance is in the history of San Juan, and all that kind of stuff. And it was just fantastic. Yeah,
I mean, you came out knowing so much history about San Juan, just so many facts, and it was just really enjoyable. It was, and getting to know him, he was very personable, told us some stories about his own life and how he got, ended up there.
Yes, he had actually lived, I think he was born in Puerto Rico, if I'm not mistaken, and then had moved to the States and was living in New York and was actually working, I think, like a stockbroker type of deal, working a 10-hour a day, 7 days a week type of thing. And then he decided to retire back as he got a little bit older to San Juan, start his own business, and the guy just runs a great show. We got into his van, and he had treats for the ladies. He had drinks, beverages, snacks, a couple of cold beers, which is great, sodas for the kid. Matthew loved it. Like Sharon said, we went with Brittany, Brett were with us on that time. Was Maxwell with us?
No.
No Maxwell yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, Maxwell was a little bit too young. That's our grandson. So we just had a fantastic time, and we highly recommend him. Excursion.
And the great thing is he doesn't charge a set price per person. He charges an hourly price, and I think he did have like a 4-hour, I think minimum.
4-hour minimum.
But when you break it up and divide it between people, it actually comes out a lot less than if you would have paid for an excursion. And this is just such an awesome excursion.
Yes,
and
I think you can fit up to 8 people in the van. It's like 65 or 70 bucks an hour, and totally worth every penny of it.
So
it's a fantastic tour. We're going to include all kinds of pictures and things like that in this video, so you'll see some of the experience that we had, and we can't say enough. Thumbs up to Charlie's Custom Tours in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
That was one of our greatest moments ever.
Yes.
Okay.
And one of Matthew's favorites too, and that's saying a lot.
All right, let's go on to number 2.
Number 2, what is number 2?
Is our Barbados catamaran, and that was before Matthew was born, so that was several years ago. But
before Matthew. Don't tell him we're talking about this. He'll be very upset with us.
This was one of our, just such a highlight cruise for us. I mean, there's so many memories. It was awesome. All right,
so it was a long time ago. We took a cruise, and it was Sharon and myself and our 3 daughters, April, Melissa, and Brittany. They were all there. We booked this excursion through the cruise ship. And see, I know these things. I know.
This was a cruise line excursion.
Yes, and it was pretty neat. So it was out of Barbados. We got off the ship, and the weird thing about it was we got off the ship, walked to another pier right next to the ship. In order to get onto our catamaran, we had to cross over a pirate ship because the way the ship, there wasn't a lot of room. So this boat waiting for us was kind of tied up to a pirate ship. It was so funny. We got on the pirate ship. I remember thinking, what is happening right now? Where are we going and what are we doing? And it was just a catamaran, a snorkel adventure, and the
guys on there were great. It was unlimited, free-flowing drinks. They started by making you like mimosas and kind of morning drinks, and they had like some pastries and things like that as we took off. Then later in the day, they went into some of the other drinks, as well as it included a full-on lunch that they cooked right there on the catamaran, and it was so good. It was really good for being cooked on there.
The guys were super friendly, and the service was great, and it was a nice long catamaran ride. Great music was playing.
They took us snorkeling too. They took us to this little cove in Barbados that was just gorgeous, and you could get off and snorkel if you chose to. And then then they took us on a really long, kind of the long way back. And you could just enjoy the catamaran with some music and
I guess because it was really one of our first like Caribbean style on the water, go to the beach type of deals early on in our cruising, and it just really stood out to us. It was a great time.
And I would love.
And our daughters loved it. They were there with us, and we had a great time.
Yeah, I would love to do that again.
So if you get a chance, you go to Barbados. I mean, pretty much any one of a catamaran, go to the beach, go snorkeling kind of combo trip.
Because it will take you
the way to go.
Off a ways in Barbados to some of the little cove areas, and the water is amazing there. It is some of the best water I've ever seen. It's beautiful.
So catamaran snorkeling in Barbados, unbelievable experience. Highly recommend it. Make sure you do it.
Yes.
All right, Sharon, what do we have next in line?
Next is St. John's Trunk Bay Beach, and that is an excursion you can do if you're visiting St. Thomas.
Oh yeah, so St. John is a little island just adjacent to St. Thomas, and the first time we went there, we did a little research and found out about this excursion. I believe this one was through the cruise ship as well. You got to remember, early on in our cruising, we took a lot of cruise ship excursions. We've actually done this excursion more than once. The first time was through the ship. After that, we did it on our own. But the first time was just so memorable, so that's the one that we're talking about here. We booked it through our Carnival Cruise Lines, and we got off of the Carnival ship, immediately met another boat right on the pier there, hopped on that boat, and took about a 30 to 40 minute ride over to the island of St. John's.
Yeah, it is a beautiful ride over there. You kind of got a whole tour as you're going over just on that boat.
Oh yeah, we saw lots of fancy mansions of some stars and all that kind of stuff.
Now, it is a little choppy. I will say it was a little choppy, so if you're someone that gets a little seasickness, keep that in mind. But we were fine. But we got there, then once we arrived, they had a little...
and like some some open-air van type of deals?
Open-air, almost like a big golf cart, little Jeep or something. I don't know, along those lines, little things you ride in. And you got in those, and then they took you kind of over to Trunk Bay Beach, and that's where we got off and spent an amazing day. St. John's Trunk Bay Beach is known for their snorkeling, so that's one of the reasons we went there. It's a great place for snorkeling. So
so we got there, we got our snorkeling equipment. I got out in the water, did a little bit of snorkeling. It's pretty neat. They have kind of an underwater trail that you follow with signs, and it talks about some different things that you're seeing in the area and stuff like that. So that was pretty fantastic. So the snorkeling was great. The beach was amazing.
It was. The water is just beautiful.
Yes.
Pretty clear.
I'll tell you what. And one thing,
snack areas over there.
We've gone to St. Thomas a couple times, and we've seen some of the beaches, and we've even gone to Megan's Bay Beach. And I'm not gonna lie, I think Sharon will agree with me that Trunk Bay Beach on the island of St. John is probably our favorite.
Best. It's much better than Megan's Bay Beach.
Yes.
It is. Yeah, it is great.
And not too many people will probably say that. So, but we went. It was tremendous. We can't recommend it enough. Trunk Bay Beach on St. John. Go check it out. Fantastic place to spend the day on the beach.
That's right.
Yes, it's secluded. It's quiet. Not a ton of people, bothering you on the beach to buy things. Food, drinks, all that good stuff is right there for you.
Yeah.
And the snorkeling was awesome.
It was.
All right, good deal. 3 down, a couple more to go. What is next?
All right, next is Dolphinaris in Cozumel.
Dolphinaris.
Yes, we swam with the dolphins.
That we did, and I was scared.
That was a highlight. Matthew had been wanting to do that, and so we booked that, about 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
That was, and we better get some more that involve Matthew in here, because I'm pretty sure that Trunk Bay Beach, he wasn't in the game. He wasn't in the mix on that one, too. That was early on, in the early years.
Anyway, so Dolphinaris was amazing. We booked it outside the cruise line. We booked it directly with Dolphinaris. So we took a cab to Dolphinaris when we got to Cozumel.
Yes.
We arrived, we went in, paid, they gave us a little band. We got into groups of it
was like 8 or 9 of us.
Yeah, they were small groups.
And I'll tell you what, maybe a little bit of a benefit. So there were people from the cruise ship that had an excursion that were there as well. But when we booked it ourselves, we got in quickly. We got in a pretty small little group, so it was a little more private. I feel like we had a little bit more time in the water with the dolphins and such, and got a little more attention that way, because I remember seeing a couple other larger groups where they had to go through a lot more instruction and details and wait for others and things like that. So that was one where it was definitely a benefit. Sorry, cruise lines, to book outside of the cruise line.
Yeah. And also, we saved a little money by doing that as well. And that one thing they will get you on at any of these type of places is the pictures. You cannot take your camera in the water, so they take the pictures for you.
Yes.
And they do.
And you mean by any one of these places, you mean the swim with the dolphin type of places?
Yes, the swim with the dolphins. And so we actually were kind of just doing some research, and so I suggest you do some research if you're booking something like this. And we found a picture package directly through Dolphinaris online where, I forget what it included, but it included, I think, a few already, pictures, printed pictures, along with a disc with all of our pictures on it.
Yes.
And for a really, really reasonable, but otherwise you're going to pay probably $40 a picture. It was expensive. And we got everything for probably $80 at the most.
Yeah, I think it was close to $100, but it was for the full package. So just to reiterate that, so when you go to the Dolphinaris or any of the dolphin places, so they ask you, they don't allow your personal camera beyond a certain point.
Or sunglasses. You can't wear your sunglasses.
Well, yeah. So you can have a family member who has a camera, and if they're sitting up in the main area, you might be 50 yards away, and they could take pictures or video from there. But you're really not getting any good shots. It's at a distance, and you're not getting any close-ups or anything. But when you go in the water, they have their own camera folks and photographers there taking close-up, amazing pictures. And you'll see some of them that we're showing here in this video, and they are tremendous.
Right, and they have video too. So when you hop on the dolphin's back and it swims across the pool with you, they have that on video of some of that going on. So that's kind of nice. You get to keep you get to have all.
I felt bad hopping on a poor dolphin. I was like, sorry, dude. Because I'm a little bit of a bigger kid. But the really great part was when Matthew did it. He was pretty young when we went, and I thought he might be a little bit intimidated and scared, but he jumped right on. He just thought it was awesome. And there were a lot of other younger kids too, just getting a kick out of it. So
that is all kind of
take advantage of that with the little ones. It's an amazing memory.
Yeah, we kind of did that. We splurged in Cozumel and did it. It was a little probably less pricey than some of the other ports, and we knew it was probably going to be maybe just a one-time thing for us because it is so pricey.
And the setup they had there was great. We felt like the dolphins were well taken care of. The place was clean.
Yes.
It had access right to the ocean as far as ocean water being involved. It wasn't inland or anything like that.
And there are many
So it was
places you
great.
can do this at, but I do highly recommend Dolphinaires. It was a great experience for us. And then we even got some free drinks and lunch after too.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because we accidentally mixed in with another group of people there.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. We weren't sure. We had a wristband on. We walked up and they just kind of started giving us this. So it didn't even say it was included, but I don't know. Maybe it was included, but we ended up with
I'm pretty sure we just moseyed in with another group, one of the bigger groups from the
I don't
cruise
know.
line, and we just sat our butts in there.
We might
and took
have.
advantage of it. So
Anyways,
don't tell anybody
turned
about
out
that.
to be a great day. at
We
Dolphinaires.
can't guarantee the lunch is included for your excursion, but the dolphin part, amazing. Take
Yeah,
advantage of
amazing.
it. Definitely swim with the dolphins. It's a memory of a lifetime.
It is. And number 5 is the White Pass Train in Skagway, Alaska.
You had to know that an Alaska excursion would be somewhere in the
How
top
could it
5
not
there.
be? Alaska's amazing.
Yes, we went with a bunch of our friends and family to Alaska, and a majority of us went on this one particular trip where it was a combination of a bus tour ride.
We took a tour up and then the train
Yes.
back.
So we got off in Skagway, right?
Right.
Just got to make sure I'm on the right Alaska, in the right town in Alaska. There's a lot of them. So we got off the ship and we met a tour guide, friendly guy, funny, joked around, had a great tour with him. And we drove, I don't know, it had to be about an hour and a half, hour to an hour and a half. Amazing
Beautiful
scenery,
beautiful
the
scenery.
mountains, the hills of Alaska. And we actually drove all the way from the port and we drove all the way to Canada.
Yeah, and we stopped several times along the way for pictures. He got out, so we could take some little picture ops and things like that, which were amazing. We got some great scenery. Great pictures.
It was fantastic. And so we did that. And then the neat thing was we drove all the way up north to the top of I don't know what you'd even call it, to the top of this mountain. We get to the border of Canada, and then we got out of the tour bus and we got in the train. And then we took a train all the way back down the mountain in Skagway,
So you kind of got
and all
to
the way
see
back
a
down
little
to
bit
the
of a different
to the ship
view.
in the port area.
You got to see the other side of it. So you got to see a lot more doing it that way. And we booked this through shoretrips.com. So it was kind of an outside of the cruise line. They do offer this through the cruise line, although the cruise line one, I will say, takes the train up and back both ways. So you're actually seeing the same thing going and coming. And if
Yeah.
you're on the opposite side of the train, you won't really see anything.
And we had friends that took the
So-
train up and back, and they had an amazing time. But we just
But
love the
they-
fact that you
yeah.
got two totally different views. And again, we were able to stop numerous times for some amazing pictures. Again, we're showing a bunch of pictures here.
Right.
You're going to see our pictures and a lot of our experience from it. And I'm going to tell you what, that train ride back was insane because
It was.
'cause you're on the side of a mountain. I mean, there's a drop outside of the train, and it's one of those trains where we got to go and stand between the cars,
Yeah, you
like
can go
outside of
outside,
it.
yeah.
And we got some cool GoPro video and stuff while we were out there, and I think it slowed down and stopped maybe once or twice on the way down. But it was fantastic. The views were insane.
It
It was a great 3 or
unforgettable.
4 hours of a trip that it's just the beauty of it was fantastic.
Yeah,
So
it was awesome.
We definitely recommend it. Whether you go
One of
train
our
up,
top
train down,
memories.
but we highly recommend to get the bus up and the train down,
Yeah.
or vice versa if they do that.
Yeah.
And you'll have an amazing
Yeah, I think
time.
you'll see a lot more that way. It's great.
Yeah, so there you go. Skagway, Alaska. Do it.
All right, and we have a bonus this
A
time.
bonus? Hold on. I thought it was 5. It's the fall 5s.
It is the fall 5s, but we each had one more that we just couldn't decide on.
So this is the first video of the fall 5 installment, and you're already breaking the rules.
I am, but that's okay. It's
Unbelievable.
It's our video, so we can break the rules, right?
Okay.
All right,
amazing.
who's gonna go first? We each had a different number 6.
Yes. All right. I'll go first because
Okay.
I like to talk.
Okay.
And by the way, are you guys seeing this amazing scenery behind us? We're just on a cruise ship. We're parked in the middle of the ocean right now, and you see the same scene behind us. It is fantastic, isn't it? All right, so I had an amazing another excursion when we went to Alaska.
And I wasn't on this one, so that's why I can't say it was one of my
No,
favorites.
so that's why I have to say how great it was. So I told you that we went with a bunch of family and friends, and it was a guys' trip. And there was 5 of us, and all together, myself, a buddy of mine, EJ, son-in-law Brett, his dad was there, Mike, and our buddy Dan, who was also with us on the trip. So 5 of us went all together. We booked a salmon fishing excursion, and the name of the charter was the Bites On. It was the Bite On charter with Captain Clay. I forget his last name, but I'll definitely put the information in the down below. So if you want to contact him, you can. We got some great pictures and some great video. But we booked with this guy. He was so great. He got us a case of beer. He brought it and had it on the ship. But probably the neatest thing was we got off of the cruise ship and we walked about 30 yards. He took us down a little ramp and his boat was waiting right there. Really nice, great condition, great equipment that we had on it. And so we got on and took a ride out. So again, it's just the guys trip, right? And you know how those guys trips can be. We got a little bit silly. And there's a couple funny stories that may or may not have involved a bottle of black velvet whiskey that we found once we finished our case of beer. And we were having a good time and the captain was too. And we each caught a fish. The only bad part was it was unseasonably warm for our Alaska trip. And that really happened the whole time through.
Yeah.
And it was so warm. They were bluebird skies. The sun was out, not a cloud in the sky. The fishing was not great, although each one of us caught a salmon. So that was cool. And then we also caught a pretty good buzz and had a great time. And the funniest part was as we pulled back into the port, all of our rest of our family, the wives and the kids, were all up to the side and they were just finishing shopping and they saw our boat come in and we saw them as we were coming in. So we started howling and yelling at each other and all that, and it was just a great time. So highly recommended. The Bites On charter out of Ketchikan, Alaska. Captain Clay took great care of us, and I would definitely do that again if I went to Alaska, without a doubt.
All right, so
You have one too? You have a bonus?
And although we both did go on this excursion, my favorite part of the excursion, Jamie didn't do, and I did, and it's something that I had so much fun doing.
All right.
Okay, it was going to Roatan, Honduras, and we went on a tour. It was a tour with Victor Baden Tours, but the thing I want to elaborate on is the ziplining. That was awesome. I can't say enough. It was my first time ziplining and I had so much fun. Although the rest of the tour was awesome as well. We actually had Victor Baden as our tour guide.
So Victor Baden, so that was pretty cool.
Really nice. And then he took us, we got to go see some monkeys and things. He took us to his home and we got to see some of things around there. He actually went and they bought the guys a 6-pack of beer and brought it back for them to drink on the tour.
Yeah, he stopped at a convenience store for us, so that was fantastic. I'll tell you, and listen, I don't want to jump on your thing because I know you loved it, but there's a few things. If you've ever been to Honduras, and probably most people haven't, it's a really unique port. And we were there with our friends, the Saunders family were with us for that one. And you walk out of the port and you have to go out. And since it was a private excursion, we booked it outside the cruise line. You have to go outside the port, walk down the road. It's up a little hill and then down.
And this was before they now that's kind of paved.
Yeah, now it's all paved and they have sidewalks and things. But this was before that, and so it was all like dirt road and gravel, and it was, we were kind of, it was our first time there. We were like, pretty frightened, like where are we going and what are we getting into?
But you walk away.
But everything turned out. We got there, we found our guy. He put us in an air-conditioned van, which is crucial. Very comfortable, very nice. Like we said, he stopped and got some drinks for us, including a couple beers, which we thought was super cool. And cruising with Baden Tours. Yeah. We've been to Honduras a few times.
And we've had other tours, which we have actually, with tour companies that I have liked just as much, if not more than Victor Baden Tours. But the reason I'm including this one is because it was just the whole overall experience of the day, and it included that zip lining. The zip lining was just something I hadn't done before, and Matthew and I, like I said, did it on this tour, and it was just amazing. It was unforgettable. I'm
not gonna lie, I sat back and I just enjoyed it. I took a lot of pictures and video. I just decided I'm a big kid and there was no need for me to be hanging from ropes flying across the jungle. Just didn't seem to make sense at the time. I didn't know what kind of validation paperwork they had to make sure that the ride was in tune and being handled properly. But
I included
these little ones, we got them on there, and it was great time. These guys.
But I included this because, like I said, the ziplining just stood out so much to me. It was something I hadn't done before, and I really, really enjoyed it so much, and I'm hoping to do it again one day.
So there you go.
So there you go. That is our 5 plus 2 bonus.
All right, let's review real quick. Okay, so San Juan, Puerto Rico, Charlie's Custom Tours, fantastic. Thank you, Carlos Medina.
Yes.
In Barbados,
Catamaran. The catamaran. It was like
catamaran beach snorkel combo type of deal.
Sail and snorkel.
Yes, so that was
Catamaran, sail, and
fantastic.
snorkel.
The next one that we had was
St. John's
Trunk Bay Beach. When you go to St. Thomas, jump over to St. John's. It was amazing. Another one was
Dolphinaris in Cozumel.
oh my gosh, swimming with dolphins. It's a once in a lifetime experience.
You have to do it at least once.
Yes, for sure. And the last one of the first 5 was
the White Pass Train in Skagway, Alaska.
yes, amazing. And then of course I loved the Bites On Charters out of Ketchikan, Alaska. Major thumbs up for that guy. We had a blast. You got to watch our Alaska vlog and see that. There's tremendous footage of that. It's a riot.
That's right. And ziplining with Victor Baden in Roatan, Honduras.
Yes, so there you go. That is our first installment of our fall 5s, and that's our top 5 excursions ever.
Yes.
If you want more info on them, let us know. If you want to book them on your next cruise, let Sharon help you out. And until then,
Happy cruising.
happy cruising.